silence. It's louder than words, louder than any text, louder than any excuse. And when that silence comes from you, it doesn't just pass by her, it enters her, it shakes her. She might smile, she might laugh, she might even post her best pictures online. But inside, she's restless. She's asking questions she'll never admit out loud. And here's the truth most men never realize. When you ignore her, something powerful happens. Not to her body, to her mind, to her ego, to her very sense of self. Today, I'm going to break down the stages of what really unfolds when you stop chasing, when you pull back, when you finally give her silence instead of attention. Some of these truths will shock you, some will even disturb you, but all of them will open your eyes. 1. Her ego takes the first blow. Every woman, no matter how confident she looks, on the outside, carries something invisible inside, an expectation. She may not say it out loud, she may not even fully realize it herself, but it's there. The expectation of attention, not from everyone, but especially from the man she believes values her. That attention acts like proof, like air. It tells her she matters, that her beauty, her charm, her presence has meaning in your eyes. So, when you ignore her, when you stop noticing the little details she thought you always would, the first crack doesn't appear in her heart. It appears in her ego. Think about this. She's used to you replying quickly. She's used to you laughing at her silly jokes, noticing her new hairstyle, asking about her day. Suddenly, silence. Your phone doesn't light up for her anymore. You don't chase, you don't feed the fire she quietly depended on. At first, she excuses it. Maybe he's busy. But deep inside, a whisper starts. Wait, am I not as important as I thought? That whisper doesn't stay soft. It grows, louder with every hour you stay silent. What makes these sting worse is the comparison. Other men might still be chasing her, complimenting her, liking her pictures. She knows she has options. She knows she can attract attention, but your silence cuts deeper because it's not about other men. It's about you. You're the one she expected to notice, and when you don't, it turns personal. It's no longer about attraction. It's about identity. Her ego screams that she deserves your attention, and your silence tells her otherwise. This is why ignoring her feels so powerful. It doesn't touch the surface. It stabs directly into that place where self-worth and validation meet. She won't show it though. She won't say, "You hurt my ego." Instead, she carries that bruise quietly, pretending nothing's wrong, while inside she feels unsettled. She replays your last conversations, wonders if she did something wrong, questions if you're losing interest. That questioning creates a storm inside her that she can't admit out loud. So, the first battle doesn't happen between you and her. It happens inside her, her ego fighting your silence. And in most cases, your silence wins the first round. Not because she's weak, but because she wasn't prepared for it. She expected your attention like sunrise, always there. When it disappears, she realizes something uncomfortable. Your attention isn't guaranteed, and that realization alone is enough to shift everything. 2. She puts on the "I don't care" mask. If there's one thing women have mastered, it's the art of covering feelings with masks. Not fake in the sense of lies, but masks that hide vulnerability. When you ignore her, she doesn't rush to admit that it stings. No, she slips into her most practiced role, the role of the girl who doesn't care. And this act is powerful, because at first glance it looks real. You'll see her smiling in pictures, going out with her friends, maybe even laughing louder than usual. Her social media starts glowing with activity. Stories filled with moments of joy, selfies with captions like "living my best life." But here's the truth. Those posts aren't for the world, they're for you. It's her silent way of saying, "Look, I'm fine without you. Maybe I'm even happier." But deep inside, she's not. Every smile she posts feels a little too forced. Every laugh looks staged. she's checking her phone between those nights out, refreshing her feed, hoping to see your name appear. She wonders if you've watched her stories, if you've liked that photo she carefully chose. The mask isn't for her friends, it's for you. It's her defense mechanism, a way to protect her pride. Why does she do this? Because admitting she cares feels like weakness. Showing you that your silence bothers her would give you power. So instead, she flips the script. She tries to make you believe she's unaffected, but behind that screen, behind that smile, she's unsettled. She can't stop, wondering why you're not reacting. And here's where most men fall into the trap. They see her posts, feel jealous, and rush back in. They break their silence just to prove they're still part of her life. But when you do that, you fail her test. Because the whole point of her I don't care act is to see if you'll bite. If you break too soon, it confirms she still controls your attention. The truth is, the harder she pretends, the more she cares. A woman who's really over you doesn't act, doesn't post, doesn't prove anything. She simply moves on. But if she's filling her feed with happy moments, it's not freedom, it's performance. And the stronger you hold your silence, the heavier that mask becomes. At night, when the posts stop, when the crowd is gone, she lies in bed staring at her phone, wondering, why isn't he watching my story? Why hasn't he texted? Why does he seem okay without me? When you ignore her, the mask is the first wall she puts up. But masks crack under pressure, and your silence is the pressure she never prepared for. 3. She starts testing you in silence. Now comes the subtle stage. Women rarely confront things directly when it comes to feelings. Instead, they test. And when you ignore her, she won't text you. Why are you ignoring me? That would expose too much. Instead, she plants little signals like breadcrumbs waiting to see if you'll follow. Maybe she sends you a casual, hey, like it's no big deal. Maybe she reacts to one of your posts, likes an old picture, or drops a random emoji in your inbox. At face value, these moves seem harmless, even accidental. But here's the truth. None of it is random. Every small gesture is a calculated test to measure your response. If you respond too quickly, if you jump back in like nothing happened, she knows your silence was just an act. She feels safe again, knowing she still controls your attention. But if you stay calm, if you take your time, if you don't respond at all, suddenly her test backfires. She realizes your silence wasn't a bluff, it was strength, and that strength forces her to rethink her place in your life. This stage is where many men slip. They see her reaching out and think, she misses me, I should reply right away. But her message isn't a confession, it's bait. She's not saying, I care. She's saying, prove to me that you still care. If you take that bait, you hand her back the power she thought she lost. But if you don't, if you remain steady, that's when the shift begins. Because here's the hidden truth. A woman who doesn't care won't test you. She won't send that emoji. She won't like your old photo. She won't check in. She'll simply move on. But if she's testing, it means you're still in her head. It means your silence has unsettled her. Every little test she sends is proof that she's still invested. The key here is patience. Your job isn't to ignore forever. It's to hold steady until the truth reveals itself. If she truly values you, the test will grow you stronger until she finally drops the mask and reaches out in a real way. But if she's only playing games, your silence will expose it. Because the woman who only wants control won't push past her pride. She'll disappear once her tests fail. So remember, her subtle moves aren't accidents. They're windows into her mind. And your silence, if held with discipline, is the answer louder than words. 4. Her curiosity becomes obsession. At first, being ignored is just confusing for her. She wonders if you're busy, if you're upset, if something small slipped through. But as the silence drags on, confusion turns into curiosity, and curiosity, if left unanswered, grows into obsession. Suddenly, your absence isn't just a gap in her day, it becomes the center of her thoughts. Picture this. She's lying in bed at night, phone in hand, scrolling through old conversations with you. She replays your last text, your last laugh, the way you looked at her. She starts asking herself questions. Did I say something wrong? Did I push him away? Or is he testing me? That curiosity eats at her. And because she doesn't have answers, she keeps going in circles, thinking about you more and more. This is where obsession starts to take root. Every time her phone buzzes, she secretly hopes it's you. Every time she opens social media, she scans for your presence. Even random things, a song, a place, a memory, bring you back to her mind. And the harder she tries not to think about you, the more you appear in her thoughts. It's the psychology of silence. When something is missing, the mind fills it with imagination. But obsession doesn't always look like love. Sometimes it comes out as irritation. She may complain about you to her friends. She may act annoyed, even say things like, he's acting weird, or I'm over him. But don't be fooled. If she truly didn't care, she wouldn't talk about you at all. Her frustration is proof that she's invested. Anger is just obsession in disguise. This is also the stage where her actions start giving her away. She might accidentally like one of your posts. She might suddenly show up where she knows you'll be, or she might send you a message that doesn't mean much on the surface, but deep down it's a desperate attempt to break the silence. None of this is coincidence. It's her obsession trying to find cracks in your calm. The important thing here is not to break the tension too quickly. If you rush back in, all that build-up collapses. She feels relief, but the mystery dies. What you want is to let the obsession grow naturally until she's the one fully reaching out, not with tests, not with half efforts, but with genuine pursuit. That's the difference between her controlling you and her chasing you. So remember this, silence creates a vacuum, and her mind can't stand the emptiness. The longer you hold your calm, the more that emptiness fills with you. Until you're not just someone she thinks about, you're the only thing she can't stop thinking about. 5. She tries to flip the game when her ego is bruised, when pretending doesn't work, and when curiosity starts to consume her. She reaches for her last trick, flipping the game. If you're ignoring her, she'll try to ignore you harder. It's her way of saying, two can play this. At this stage, she may suddenly pull back in obvious ways. Maybe she stops texting completely. Maybe her replies get shorter, colder. Maybe she starts posting pictures with other men, hinting at the attention she's getting elsewhere. On the surface, it looks like she's moving on, but in reality, it's not about moving on, it's retaliation. She's not trying to forget you, she's trying to force your hand to make you chase again. This is her ego's last stand, because if she can get you to break, if she can make you react with jealousy or panic, she wins. It restores her sense of control. And let's be honest, many men do break at this point. They see her pictures, they see her silence, and they can't handle it. They run back trying to reclaim what they think they lost. But when you do that, you fall right into her plan. The truth is, flipping the game isn't strength. It's desperation, because if she truly didn't care, she wouldn't need to mirror you. She wouldn't try to match your silence or post things just to get a reaction. The fact that she's playing the same game shows how deeply affected she is. It's not indifference. It's proof that you're in her head. The key here is not to misread the situation. A lot of men panic when they see this stage. They think, she's gone, I lost her. But if you look closely, you'll see it's not distance, it's drama, it's theater. And the only way to win is to not play. If you stay calm, if you let her little games play out without reacting, she realizes something important. You're not competing, you're not chasing, you're not even playing anymore. And that realization shakes her more than anything else, because women are used to men folding under pressure. They're used to silence breaking. They're used to jealousy pulling men back in. But when you don't bend, when you don't bite, when you stand firm, she sees a strength she didn't expect. And that strength doesn't just unsettle her, it earns her respect. So when she tries to flip the game, don't panic, don't chase, don't prove anything. Just hold steady. Because the moment she realizes the game doesn't work on you is the moment she understands you're not like the rest. 6. she starts valuing you more. This is where the transformation happens. After all the bruised ego, the masks, the silent tests, the failed games, something inside her shifts. She begins to value you more, and it's not because you begged for it. It's because your silence created scarcity, and scarcity always creates value. Think about it. When something is always available, people take it for granted. A man who's always calling, always texting, always waiting, he becomes predictable, and predictability rarely feels exciting. But the moment you step back, the moment you stop giving her constant attention, something changes. You become rare, and what's rare becomes valuable. Now she remembers the little things, the way your voice calmed her, the way you listened when no one else did, the way you made her laugh without trying. These same things were there before, but now they feel different, special, because they're no longer guaranteed. And in her mind, your silence turns you from ordinary to unforgettable. This is the point where respect grows, and respect is more powerful than attraction, because attraction can fade, but respect stays. She realizes not every man can stay silent without anger. Not every man can detach without bitterness. Most men beg, chase, or explode when ignored. But you stayed calm, and that calmness feels different. It feels powerful. Once she starts valuing you, her behavior changes. She becomes more careful with her words. She becomes more intentional with her actions. She starts worrying less about controlling you and more about keeping you. That shift is huge because it moves her from ego to respect, and respect is the foundation of real desire. The key for you is balance. Silence works because it forces reflection. But when she begins to show genuine effort, when her reach-outs become real instead of tests, that's when you choose. You decide if she's worth your energy again. Because silence isn't about punishing her, it's about filtering her. It shows you what she truly feels. So when you reach this stage, understand something important. Your silence didn't just make her miss you, it made her see your worth, and that worth once realized is hard to forget. 7. She comes back or walks away. This is the final stage, the moment where everything becomes clear. After the ego bruises, the pretending, the testing, the obsession, the games, the reflection, she now faces a choice, and that choice reveals everything about who she really is. If she truly values you, she'll come back. Not with half-hearted signals, not with vague texts, but with genuine effort. She'll reach out directly, admit she misses